It says we're live. I'm going to give people a little time to get here. All right, it is about that time to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 5 of our youth-driven substance abuse conference known as Walking the Red Road Together. My name is Chris Shaw. I am the prevention coordinator here at Two Feather Native American Family Services, and I am also you guys' host for this week. Today is probably my favorite day of the conference because today is our youth panel. As you guys can see on here, we have 4 of our amazing youth on with us, and we have 4 of our amazing mentors on, and we guys are going to have a little conversation about everything that's going on. So what I'm going to do as a way to start everything off, I'm going to introduce the youth introduce themselves, and then have the mentors introduce themselves, and then we'll get started with our questions. So our first youth who's going to introduce himself is Mr. Milton Mabry. So Bill, why don't you introduce yourself and see how you're doing today?
I'm doing good, Chris. My name is Milton Mabry from Hoopa. I'm just graduated from Hoopa Valley High School. I played 3 sports in high school all throughout till I got in Iraq, and basketball, baseball, and football. And I'm the youngest of 9. Plan on going to CR until I transfer to Shasta for heavy equipment, and that's it.
Thank you, Milton. Our next youth is Jaimie. So Jaimie, tell us about yourself and see how you're doing today.
Hi, I'm Jaimie. I'm from Eureka. I got a month clean today, and I'm getting off probation in 11 days. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Thank you, Jaimie. Happy to have you here. Next up is Shar. Shar, why don't you tell us who you are and tell us how you're doing today?
I'm doing good. My name is Charlene Wan. I'm Hoopa and Pima. I'm 16 years old. I ended up using substances because of all the trauma I went through, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm here today because Yvonne heard an interview I did, and she asked for me, and I want to show youth that there is a better way. Thank you.
Thank you, Shar. Next up is Mr. Joseph Lewis. Hopefully he's back at his seat by now, so he's ready to go. Joe Lou, tell us a little about yourself and how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing fine today. My name is Joseph Lewis. I'm 17 years old. Recently graduated high school. I'm of Hoopa and Yurok descent, and glad to be here with you, all you fine folks, and the people on Facebook.
Thank you, Joe Lou. Happy to have you here. And for those of you guys who want to know a little more about Joe Lou, he just got done using the bathroom, so he's like all prepared for his McDonald's stuff, so he's ready to go. Those are our 4 youth who are on with us today. I also have 4 of our mentors who are going to be asking the youth questions, so I'm going to introduce them next. First off, we have Miss Ellen Colegrove. Ellen, how are you doing today, and why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Hey everyone, this is Ellen Colegrove. I just graduated HSU with a bachelor's in child development and Native American studies, and now I'm continuing on to a master's in social work at HSU. And I'm very proud to be working at Two Feathers, and today is going to be really awesome. So yeah, and I'm good today.
Thank you, Ellen. Happy to have you here with us. Next up is Miss Wakara Scott. Waka, how you doing today? And happy to have you here with us.
Happy to be here, Chris. I'm doing good. Ayukui, everybody. Neck now, Wakara Scott. McKinleyville, Awk, Watek, SE, Wakara, SE, Sumeg, Matewamechok. Hi, everybody. My name is Wakara Scott. I live in McKinleyville, and I come from the villages of Watek, Sumeg, and Wakara. And I'm a college mentor here at Two Feathers, and I'm really excited to be a part of this conference today.
Thank you, Waka. I am very jealous that I'm not able to do that introduction like you just did, so thank you for doing that. Next up, we have Miss Amada Lang. Amada, how are you doing today? And why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for making that point out too, right when I'm gonna go into my intro. No, I'm just teasing. But I'm doing good today. God, it's a sunny day again on all the lives. It's nice because it's like you can go and enjoy the day right after doing something like this. And I am currently a grad student at HSU. I'm also doing youth respite work for Changing Tides as well as youth mentor for Two Feathers. I finished my rec degree in 2019, so I'm glad to be going back to school. I'm also a Creek native and kind of building, I guess, a little bit more into the Acorn as well program right now with Two Feathers. I think that's what's most recent with me, but thanks for asking, Chris.
Thank you, Amada. Happy to have you on here with us as well. And last but certainly not least is Miss Naishian Richards. Sorry, Naish, I can't talk right now, but how are you doing? And why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I'm doing pretty good. It's a beautiful hot day here in Hoopa. The power went out like for a quick 30 minutes, so I was like freaking out earlier. But I'm doing really good. I'm really excited for today's panel. Hey young everyone, Huedut Nation Ahoyet, Huedut Richards Ahoyet, Taika Mithting Nahoye, Natinahue Suhdai, Nia Nadavian Batwa Huvinga. So I just introduced myself in Hoopa, that's my dad's tribe, and then very lastly, I introduced myself in Western Shoshone, which is my mom's tribe. I'm a current CR student, and I'm working on transitioning to HSU to the social works program. And I'm really, really stoked for today's discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Nish. You spoke like 3 different languages. I'm very jealous. I can't even speak one correctly. So I'm happy to have you on here with us. And thank you all the mentors who are on here with us as well. And thank you for all the youth. This is going to be a fun little talk. And if you guys have any questions you want to ask the youth or the mentors, we will be on our Facebook, and you can go on the comments and ask us anything. Well, not anything, but ask us something. We will try and answer it to the best of our abilities. I also will have a little surprise for the youth at the end. They don't know this yet, but Shar, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do the surprise because you're not with us, but the boys and Jaimie, we have a little surprise for you guys. So I want everybody to stay on and be ready for that. So I'm going to ask the first question for all of our youth. Hoping you guys could all tell me your stories, tell me what happened in your lives, why you guys are here, and what message you want to bring to people. So we'll start off with that. And Milton, I believe you're first. I'll start with you.
My car accident brought me here. What do I say?
So talk about your story.
So, come back from a football game, we lost, and it was hard because, I don't know, we just lost by a lot. And I went out and drank with friends and stuff and got picked up by a drunk driver, hopped in with him, was going 126 miles per hour. And I tried to tell him slow down. He was about to go around a turn, and he slowed down to 120. And we wrecked, flew in the air, and smacked on the ground and went back up on the road. And the car was on fire. And Kim Conrad pulled us out of the car. And I had to go to the hospital for like 14 days with 2 surgeries throughout the time. And then 3 months later, I went back for my last surgery, and it took me like 2 months to heal, and I'm finally back to myself.
Thank you, Milton, for telling your story. Jaimie, leave your next. Tell us about your story.
Okay. Well, I got a month clean today. off of pretty much everything except heroin. It's been hard. I started using when I was like 12 because that was the thing to do, I guess. I lost my mom last month on the 15th to that stuff. And right now I'm just trying to figure out how to live a better life, you know. I get off probation on the 8th next month, and it's like, it's kind of scary because it's all in my hands after this, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I can do whatever I want pretty much, you know, so it's like, I can either waste my life or I can build on it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much a lot to do with what I've got going on right now. I grew up in foster care and group homes. Didn't see much of my own family for a long time. I went to juvenile hall. They weren't going to let me back out to my parents because everything, you know. And that's when Yvonne stepped in and took me in, you know. I went on the run this last time, like last month. I don't know what it was. Something was like pulling me out there, you know, and I'm glad I did because I got to spend my mom's last month with her, you know. And then I got arrested 11 days after that. I was in juvenile hall for a little bit. Yvonne, she really wasn't like trying to take me back up like before that, but once we had a meeting or whatever, and we just looked at each other and we knew like that's what was supposed to happen, you know. So yeah, so now it's all in my hands after I get off probation. So
Thank you for telling your story, Jaimie. It's a powerful one. Shar, you're next. Do you want to tell us your story and what's going on with you?
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I grew up around some bad things, and I didn't really have a stable home, and so I got the social workers placed me with my cousins when I was 6, and around that time my mom went missing, and I didn't really understand what was going on, and it wasn't my fault, but I put that blame on myself, and I didn't really know how to deal with it, and I was depressed, and I ended up like, I wasn't a very good kid, I guess. I'm still a kid, but you know, when I was like 12 or so, or I started running away and smoking pot and drinking. Like, I don't know if my parents know this, but I would take alcohol from the kitchen and bring it to school, and they didn't know what to do anymore, and so I got put in with my sisters, and I lived with them, and I was really hurt, and I didn't know what to do about it, and so I just took it out on people around me, and I ended up trying to run away when we visited California, and it was really bad, and I ended up going to juvie for like 3 days, and I decided that I wanted to move in with my dad because we just got a DNA test done for him, and so I moved in with my dad, like back down to Hoopa. And when I lived in Hoopa, I started hanging out with older men and doing meth, and like I stopped going to school, and it was like I felt like I was needed, and I felt like I was cared for, but it wasn't like that. And I would get in fights a lot with my family members and my grandma. And one really bad fight happened, and I decided that I didn't want to live like that anymore. And so I I talked to one of the women at school, and I got placed with my other cousin, and I lived with her for about a month. And I was gonna go to Riverside, but I decided that I wanted to move back up to Washington with my sisters because it's the best place for me, and I didn't realize that like 2 years ago, but now I do. And I'm going to Narcotics Anonymous, and that's really good for me. Today, I just met with my sponsor and went over my second step, and tomorrow I'm going to be 9 months clean, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm developing healthy relationships with my family, and that's really good for me. It can be hard sometimes, but I'm doing it. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Shar. That was amazing. I'm happy to have you with us, and thanks for telling your story. Joe, I believe you're gonna tell your story next. Why don't you start that for us?
Yeah, I'll start. It probably all started when kind of like a few years back now, like when my brother passed away. He was working for Davy Wright, and it was on December 31st, and something bad happened. I think an accident, major accident, ended up cutting his safety line, and then he fell 70 feet to his death. And it was sometime after that. It was like a year passed or whatever. After all that happened, my mom kind of took a turn for the worse, and we all knew, basically what was going to happen. As us kids, we kind of expected that, honestly, but not to where it was going to be this bad. Like, there was like a point where I was still living with her, but for the time she was gone, like for that whole year afterwards, she wasn't with us anymore. She was just like gone. She disappeared. And I was kind of with my grandma and like just with a bunch of just random people, and just it kind of was like couch surfing in a way, but like not really. And then I remember when she did finally come back, she still wasn't clean, but she got a house, so I could still live with her. And I remember one day I already had a bad day at school, and then things just weren't going so well. And I remember coming into the house and like going in the room just to see what she was doing, because she was always there when I came home from school. And I remember just seeing her lay on the bed, and it was she had a hypodermic needle sticking out of her arm. And she had a belt like wrapped around her the top of her arm. I remember just looking at her, just scared, and just didn't know what to do in a way. And then I kind of like shook her back to life, and she was like almost passed out to where she could have probably died. I don't know, heck, but yeah. And then I just remember being scared after that, just scared and just lost, and not really knowing what to do after that, because she was just so far gone, and it was just terrible. And I'm supposed to be living with her. I was just so broken over it, and I kind of needed her. And my other family members, they didn't really care for her at all, because they already knew what she was doing. It felt super bad. I didn't feel safe at all. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't a good home for me, and I needed some kind of stability, and I needed help, because I was dealing with my brother passing away still, and she was dealing with it some other way, and I needed her help, and I needed her to help me with that trauma or whatever. And she couldn't. She was on a bunch of other things, and I remember just walking away, and then just crying, walked down to the airport, started crying, tried to get her to stop. She couldn't stop. She wouldn't stop. So I ended up giving up. And then when I knew I gave up on her, is when I know she was going to give up on me. So it went on like that for another like year, maybe half a year. And then I finally moved in with my brother. And then I didn't want to leave her. I wanted to try to help her, but obviously she couldn't get any help. So I didn't feel like I could do anything about it anymore. So moved out, gave up on her, gave up on myself, and I felt so bad. I felt so much regret and just anger and hostility with myself. And I knew I had to help her, and I knew the only way she was going to get help if we tried. And it just seemed like everybody gave up on her, and I didn't. And I was the last person to be with her and try to help her, and I gave up on her too. So I just felt it was really scary. I felt like she was gonna give up on herself and not be with us anymore. But I still talk to her and everything, and I think she's a lot better now. But it was just within that time period, it was scary because I didn't know one day I might wake up and get a call about my mother, ODing in her house or something, or they found her body 3 days later and she's in there dead. I was scary. It was really sad. I thought I had spent sleepless nights worrying about it, and just I was just so overstressed in my room, and just it would be terrible. And I'm glad things are a lot better than they are. So yeah, that was my story.
Thank you, Joe. That was a very powerful story, and thank you for telling it. Our next question is coming from Miss Ellen Colegrove. So, Ellen, ask the question that you have.
Thank you guys for sharing your stories. I think that's going to be the hardest part about this whole webinar. So let's talk about some good stuff now. Who are the people in your life that have pushed you to become the person you are today, whether good or bad? And we'll start with Milton.
First, my parents, of course. Sunshine Jackson, Travis Sims, Willie Sims, Chelsea Gibbons. Like I said yesterday, all my football coaches, basketball coaches, baseball coaches, John Snell, just all those guys. And Chris Shaw and stuff. And yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Milton. Next, we have Jaimie.
Definitely Vaughn and Jeff. That's off tops, But my mom, a lot, She wanted to see me do a lot in this world, But she was in her own mix, So she, I don't know. She did her best with what she had, But definitely Vaughn and Jeff, they saved my life more than once. My sisters, of course, Cheyenne, come on, Took, Sarah, okay, I guess, but yeah, that's about it. And my dad, I forgot my dad too,
Mm-hmm. Next we have Shar.
My sisters, my mom and my dad, and I thinking about it now, like I had a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people that I knew I didn't want to be like, and they pushed me to be what I am today, or becoming to be, I guess. And some of my friends, when I'm having a hard time and I want to go back to that old life, they tell me that I shouldn't go back. And some people from Sovereign Bodies Institute, they helped me too, and people in NA. That's all I got. Thanks.
What about you, Joe? Who are the people that have influenced your life or pushed you to become the person you are today?
I'd like to think more about my brother and his girlfriend, just for kind of stepping in and taking care of me when they shouldn't have to, or they shouldn't have, just for being my parents when I didn't have parents. So those guys Dallin and Chrissy both had a very huge impact on my life, especially at the most important part. It was great. Those guys are awesome. Much love for those guys. And then even with my mom being the way she was, she just kind of pushed me just to be better about myself. Looking at her made me want to not be like that. And I guess she did help a lot, actually, in the more positive role. She was there when she could, so she helped a lot. I'd like to also thank my dad. He kind of whipped me in shape for a little bit when I did stay with him. So I like to thank him for for him being there too. And just my football coaches as well. They taught me probably the most important lesson in your life. Even though you get hit and you fall down, you still gotta get back up and keep pushing. That's one of the most good lessons, one of the most important lessons I probably learned. My grandpa too, a lot. I remember as a little kid, just a little guy walking in his house, running, grandpa, and he'd always tell me a story and it'd always kind of brighten my day up. So he always had something good to say, wise old man. So yeah, I'd like to thank all those guys, and especially Joe Marshall too. He had a quite impact on my life. So yeah, that's I'd like to thank all those people.
Thanks for that, guys. What I'm hearing is keep positive people around you as much as you can, people who support you and help you strive to become what you want to become. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you to all of those people that you have mentioned that have helped you and are still helping you. And next question will be from Waka.
So my question for you guys is, what do you guys recommend Two Feathers and other organizations and tribes do to work towards substance use intervention and prevention for our communities? So, Jaimie?
Everything you guys are doing, I guess, like more mentors and fun activities, I guess, and yeah, just more people like you guys.
Happy to hear we're helping you guys out. Shar?
I'm sorry, but what was the question?
Yeah, I can repeat that question. What do you guys recommend Two Feathers and other organizations and tribes do to work towards substance use intervention and prevention for our communities? Looks like we're having some trouble with Wi-Fi, so or internet connection. Joe, can you answer that question?
Yeah, answer that question. I think it's just that would help us out a lot is just kind of having like a place for not just like say being a dad or a mom that has half custody and half non-custody share the half of their partner. I feel like they should have a place to where it's not like a visitation center, but it's like a place where you can go, kind of like a park, but like indoor, like where you can just go. And then I feel like we should have like a place for the people that do walk around who are on like a substance, that like they should have a safe place to go where like that way like people I guess don't look at them weird when they're like walking downtown. And it's kind of embarrassing because some of those people we're related to, and it's like some of those people, like I don't know, it kind of hurts us in a way with seeing our cousin or our uncle walk around like that. So there's a place for them to go, and great like awareness, definitely awareness, because in our valley we know the people, and we know exactly who's doing this to our own people, who's selling the drugs and everything. I feel like there should definitely be a thing to where we put a stop to it, but we can't, because I mean we probably have crooked cops obviously, and it's just I don't know, it's very frustrating. I feel like we should definitely be aware of the people who are dealing it and doing it to us, and we should put a stop to them. We should do something. I don't know, just this place to where just we be aware, get aware of it.
Yeah, I think those are some great ideas, Joe. Milton, can you answer the question next?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I can. What do you guys recommend Two Feathers and other organizations and tribes do to work towards substance use intervention and prevention for our communities?
Just more youth stuff in Hoopa. specifically to help out our, like in Hoopa, the youth, so the kids ain't doing bad there.
All right. Who's next? Amada, do you want to ask your question next?
Yes, I'm just making sure that our other panelists had joined, but I don't think she has, so I just want to make sure I'm not skipping anybody. But I'll go ahead and follow just the same order that was gone. So Jaimie, this one's for you. What was a motivating factor? You guys kind of answered it too, so it's kind of, but just maybe a little bit more. What was your motivating factor to attend and be a part of this conference?
A big part of it was, I'm not even gonna lie, in the beginning it was like to show probation, like, oh look, you know, on my court, like little thing to show the court, oh, I'm doing good, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, da, 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 you know. But now, like when I first seen the first one, I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Like it's gonna come from the heart now, you know what I mean? Like it I don't know, it's cool. So yeah, that's.
Thank you, Jaimie. I think that's kind of a good insight too, that it's turned around and you're like, not really turned around, but it's kind of given you more of like a, whoa, this is really what the outcome is from it. I don't know. I like those things when it comes out more than what you thought. I guess I'll go with Jolu next. And the question was just kind of what a motivating factor to attend the conference was.
Just hearing about like other like youth participating, definitely with Milton, I was probably a good motivator to hear that there's like people out there like willing to listen to our story, I guess, because a lot of times our story doesn't get heard, and we have to tell our story. It helps us a lot, and just with people, you know, out there willing to listen to us is great. I like the fact that this program is here, and it was open to the youth, so that's why I like it, and that's why I did it.
Thank you. And Milton, what about you?
Just to get back to my community and the community, and let them know what I've been through, and to know not to hop in with a drunk driver, and don't drink and drive, or you could end up dead or hurt really bad like how I was.
Thank you for that too. I think everybody's given a little insight on different ways, so this is nice. And I believe Shar is also going to answer the question as well.
Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay. I think a motivating factor for me was just to show other youth that there is a better way than to use substances to get through life. And I want people to hear my story because I've been through a lot, and I think that would help other kids know that they're not alone, and that it's gonna be all right. Thanks.
Thank you. And then I believe Naishian's gonna go ahead and ask a question.
All right, so my question for all you youth is, do you see yourself as a role model? And we're gonna go in the order starting with Milton.
Yeah, I do. There's a lot of kids that look up to us, like me, Jolu, all the older kids and stuff. And I know that I have to be better to make them watch me, and to see them, show them that I'm doing good and they can do what I'm doing, to be a role model for them.
Great answer, Milt. Thank you. I'm gonna send it over to Jaimie now.
Yeah, I think I am. Even if I'm doing bad or good, or if I don't want them to be watching, they're always watching, you know. So I gotta watch myself on that one because they're always watching.
I love that answer. And then I'm gonna choose Charlene to go next.
Yeah, I see myself as a role model, but it puts a lot of pressure on you, and I have to remind myself that it's okay to make mistakes, and I'm not going to be perfect, but there is a lot of pressure, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Charlene. And last but not least, go ahead, Joe, and answer the question of, do you see yourself as a role model?
As a three sport athlete, you kind of have to be, in a way, because it kind of follows with being a good person on and off the field and on and off the court and on and off the diamond. At a lot of times when I'm like playing football or something, I get a little bit too into it, get a little frustrated, especially with this season. You're kind of like, you're getting down by a lot, you get a lot of points, and then you kind of get frustrated. And so you try to get back to the team kind of personally. Then I would end up doing something bad or something like that to where I shouldn't have. It was illegal. Then I kind of like look around, but oh man, a bunch of the fans just saw that, seen what I did. I just did out of anger. Then I was like, I got to stop myself from doing this because I got people watching. I got like fans up in the stands, and they're definitely gonna, because a lot of people came up to me after some games like, oh man, you shouldn't have done that. I was like, all right, definitely got to watch myself, and especially in football, after like scoring a basket or something or getting the layup, just getting all excited and doing like a freaking little dance or something. I'm like, oh man, that's like good sportsmanship. These little kids are probably gonna try to go do that now, and like I shouldn't do that. I should just be humble and go and try to get a rebound or something. And then in the baseball, after winning, it was just like, it felt so good, and like I just was like showing bad sportsmanship then. And then I looked back and I was like, oh man, there's one of my little cousins watching me. He's probably gonna go do the same thing. But yeah, being an athlete, you definitely have to be a role model. You already are a role model. When little kids see you run out there on that football field, they're already like, they look up to you. They're like, man, I just want to be like this guy when I grow up. And that's how I felt too, looking at my brother's games, watching him run onto the football field. I was like, man, I want to be just like this guy. So you definitely gotta be a better role model, especially when you're playing sports. And even if you're like doing these things, you gotta be a good role model, because there's the younger youth, they're our future, and they're gonna come up and they want to be just like you. You gotta have a good output to you. You gotta have a good personal resume. So yeah, you gotta be a good role model, basically, because they're gonna look up to you and they're gonna be just like you when you get older. So you gotta put the impact on them early. So yeah.
Thank you, Joe. That was an awesome answer. And to just let you youth know that you guys are my role model too. There's no age on what role model could be. So I really want to thank you. And I'm going to send it back to Chris.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all those questions. Thank you for your answers, youth. And Nation was right. You guys are role models for everybody, for all the mentors, for everybody working here. So thank you guys for that. I actually have a question for the audience for our youth. It's from Jim Bowie. Hi, Jim. It says, what are you guys doing to overcome the trauma that's happened in your guys' life today? Milton, I'll start with you.
This stuff, just doing stuff like this. I don't know.
It's a good answer. I like it. Jaimie, go you next.
And last questions from audience.
Yeah.
Shay, shut up. We can hear you.
Okay. I think, wait, what was the question again?
What are you guys doing to overcome the trauma that has happened in your guys' life today?
Sitting with it, not running to drugs about it, talking to Jeff about it, and Yvonne. Yeah, just sitting with it, not running from it. So.
Thank you for that. Shar, I'll go to you next.
I've been talking to my sisters about things that have happened, and I see a counselor. I talk to her about it, and just talking about it helps a lot, and hearing what other people have to say and knowing that like I don't have to go through it alone, and yeah, that it's gonna be okay.
Very nice. Joe Lou, wrap us up. What'd you answer this question?
To me, because it was like there was a bad time. It must have been like my junior year or something. I don't know what the hell was going on. But yeah, I just was feeling bad, and well, obviously a lot of trauma from before. And it was my first year living with Talon and Chrissy downriver. So Chrissy's family wanted me and Talon to do jump dance ceremony with them for the first time, and it was cool. It was a great ceremony. I liked it, and I was seeing the school issued me a counselor before that, but I'm not like the type of guy to go sit on a chair, in this room with a stranger and like talk about my feelings. I'm not gonna do that with some weird guy I just met. I kind of get a bad vibe already. But so I went to jump dance ceremony, and I danced. It was just awesome feeling, just with a bunch of my family, my sister's family around, Chrissy, and it was amazing, especially getting in there to because this was my first time doing a jump dance, and just getting in there to participate in the ceremony, especially when it's a healing ceremony, like to heal the world. And then it was just awesome because after that, I ended up having to schedule another appointment with my counselor, and I was already not wanting to do that with him. And it was, plus he was gonna get me away from jump dance. Like I had to go do it for some reason, and I would have missed a dance. So I was already pissed, I was like, man, I should be dancing with my family, this and that. And then so I went to go see him, and then I just felt totally 10 times better, getting off the ceremonial ground is just like, I don't feel this type of way anymore. This helped me out a lot. And just, I was telling him, and it got to a point where the questions he was asking was kind of irrelevant. So I just didn't listen to him. I kind of ignored him. I was like, man, I don't need you anymore. I got the ceremony I need to get to. So yeah, definitely ceremony helped me a lot. And talking to people was definitely a great thing, especially talking to people down there, because they got a great input on things. So it was awesome. So yeah, that's what helps me out a lot.
Thank you guys. All your guys' questions or answers were amazing for every one of our questions, but especially this one. Next question I have for all you guys is that you guys are all showing leadership just by being here. But what can you guys tell for anyone who is maybe wants to tell their story, but maybe is a little too nervous, a little scared? What advice can you tell to those kids who are maybe looking up to you guys to tell their story? Milton, I'll start with you.
Just be yourself, find support, and for the process and telling your story.
Quick and to the point. I like it, Milton. Jaimie, how about you?
What was the question?
What could you tell to someone who maybe wants to tell their story, but is a little too nervous or maybe be too scared to tell their story?
Start off with your family or your sisters or your brothers if you're comfortable, and then I don't know, just go from there. Just I don't know, just try to not let it scare you. It's worth it. People listen. They want to hear it. It helps people out. So yeah, just do that.
Thank you. People are definitely listening. I know I'm listening. Shar, how about you?
I would say to not let that hold you back, and I can be nervous or scared to do it too, but I can't let that hold me back, and I just have to push through it. And yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely pushing through it. Thank you for telling your story. And then Joe Lou, I'll end it with you. What do you think? What do you have to tell anybody who might be too nervous or scared to tell their story?
I gotta say, just have confidence, have the most confidence in yourself, have the most confidence the story you are telling to the people are gonna listen to you, and they're gonna want to hear your voice. A lot of big things for me to where I, boosted my confidence, because where I get kind of this public speaking thing is I went to a couple water hearing meetings in Reading with I'd like to say my grandma Margot. And it was just, I had to get up and publicly speak in front of like hundreds of people. So, and I kind of didn't know really what to say, but it was kind of like I found something within me to say at that type of moment. And I just kind of because of that point, because we were fighting for water, it was just like anger about these people, trying to stop that. And just find confidence in yourself. If you're talking about something like this, just think these people are definitely here to hear my story, and they want to hear it. for me, when I first started talking, it was these people probably don't want to hear my story, but I'm going to let them hear my story. I'm going to make sure they know my story. I'm going to make sure that they need to hear it because they probably didn't want to. But these people want to hear your story. So that's going to make them listen a lot better. And just having confidence with yourself. So yeah, this confidence is a big thing.
Thank you, Joe. People do want to hear your story. Thank you for telling your story, all four of you guys. And thank you for being here. Ellen, I believe you have the next question for the panel.
Yeah, I think this is a really good question that you guys probably think about every day. So I want to ask you, what are your goals for the future, whether community goals or personal goals? And we'll start with Milton.
Just go to CR for a year, make some money, and then transfer to Shasta for heavy equipment, and then get a certificate or license for it, and come back to Hoopa or something, or go somewhere and do heavy equipment stuff, make money.
That sounds like a good plan. Next we have Jaimie.
My number one goal right now is learn how to be more normal, I guess you would call it, or like stay clean and find different ways to live, because yeah, I wasn't living right for a long time, you know. So
Yeah. Next we have Shar. What are your goals for the future, whether community goals or personal goals?
I would say to show other youth that they can do big things, or great things for their community. And I want to graduate high school and then go become either a what is it called, juvenile parole officer, or a police officer, and then become a detective, because that would be so cool. And I just because of the bad people that I've had in my life, I don't want other youth to have to go through that, and I just want to get people like that off the street, I guess, or yeah.
Yeah, your goals are so amazing, and I can't wait to hear what Joe has to say about his goals and community goals.
My goal is to go to CR, I guess, for 2 semesters or maybe even 4 semesters. Just get my general ed, because I am lacking general ed. After that, I want to go to transfer to Southern University, Oregon, to pursue a major in like fire ecology. And then after I'm done studying in fire ecology, I want to like become a fire investigator for high rise in like a city somewhere. And then after a couple of years of that, maybe, I mean, I might be successful, I might not be, who knows. I want to come back locally and investigate the fires here, because some of them are definitely arson, and it would just be awesome helping out my community that way. Just figure out who those people are, and just being a great role model for my community, just to see someone getting out of here doing successful things. I feel like that make a lot of people happy back home. So yeah, that's what I want to do.
Does anyone want to answer like what they want to see in their community?
I'll answer that. I would like to see, I guess, a lot more people being more successful. Like there are some kids like in my age group that are like, man, I kind of don't have anything planned after high school. I might as well just stay here and just chill, whatever. They end up going down the wrong road. But then there is great opportunities. Like for someone like me at like a younger age, in my freshman year, I was looked at as someone who was going to be successful and like get out of here in a way. I was looked at more like, man, this kid's going to be here forever. He doesn't have good grades. He's already a bad kid. But now, in the beginning of this year, I'd say from football season all the way up until basketball season, till Corona started, I surprised a lot of people. I kind of surprised a lot of people. Definitely a lot of people looked at me a lot different from a couple years ago to now, and then they see that I'm one of the more, I guess, successful kids. I mean, every kid's successful. Don't ever put a kid down just because the way they are now. And I'd like to see a lot more kids having a lot more confidence, like them knowing that they could do something, and with people's telling them they can't do it. You could do anything you want, basically. If it starts earlier, that's a lot better. I mean, later, that's still, it's great. So you could do anything. Don't ever let anybody put you down. Achieve your goal. Push for your dream. Dreams do come true. So yeah.
Thanks for that. Does anyone else want to answer the question about what you want to see in your community?
I want to see drugs and alcohol not so like normalized in communities, I guess, and like I want to see more youth not using, and more things to do, like for youth to do, so they're busy and not bored all the time.
Thank you guys for talking to me and Facebook about your goals. Now we all know, so we'll see you get there. And now I'm going to hand it over to Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. That was a great question, and thank you guys for answering it. Waka, I believe you have the next question for our youth.
Yep, I do. My question for you guys is, what do you guys recommend, like activities? They could be cultural, or they could be like Joe was saying, football and basketball. Like what like activities would you guys recommend for other youth out there to like kind of turn to instead of like substance abuse?
Just playing sports all the time and stuff. So you ain't doing something bad. You're out there having fun and not doing drugs or drinking and stuff. Just play sports to keep you busy instead of doing dumb stuff.
Jaimie?
I think there should be more cultural activities, because I really wasn't taught much because there was other things going on and stuff. So I think that should be a big thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Shar?
I would recommend surrounding yourself with friends who aren't using, and go do things with them. Maybe you can start painting or doing art. Maybe doing an activity with your family, or if you don't have family, you can do that with someone that you look up to or something, you know. Yeah.
Joe?
I'd like to say sports. Definitely sports. That sports is one hell of a feeling you'll never get. One of the best feelings in the world to me is when you go and get on a bus with a bunch of your teammates and you're just sitting there having the time of your life, you know, vibing or whatever. And especially when you're going like somewhere far, like we didn't do a lot of traveling this year, but like last year we went to a playoff game down in St. Helena. I mean, we lost kind of, but I mean, it was the best time of my life. Like just sitting in like a bus, you know, with my teammates, just having a hell of fun, especially when you're coming back from a win, and a win like that you weren't supposed to win. So like going to Ferndale, beating Ferndale, like my junior year for the first time, like 20 years, and coming back, that was probably one of the best feelings of my life, like in that bus. So it was great. It was awesome. It's amazing. That definitely influenced me more stronger than any other bad friend, bad influence, or peer pressure ever. It was that feeling. I didn't want to ever let it go. So that the sports is definitely an amazing thing. I encourage any kid, anybody to get into sports immediately, as fast as they can, even if they're like parents don't want them to, or it's ultimately up to them. But just even if you don't want to like get into like organized sport, just go out there like on the field, just run routes by yourself, or have another friend, come with you. Just get into sports immediately. It's one of the greatest things I could ever encourage someone to do. So it's awesome feeling. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. What I was hearing was sports and working on some art and maybe getting more involved in your culture. That's all great things to get involved in. I'm going to send it back to Chris.
Thank you, Waka, and thank you everybody again for answering your questions. I know we said that this is going to go from 12 to 1, but we are having such a good time on this call and on this panel that we're going to go longer because I want the youth to keep talking. So I'm going to send this to Amada for the next question, and then we're going to keep going. And however long this is, there is no time limit. So as long as the youth still want to stay on here, we're going to stay on here as long as possible. So Amada, you get the next question.
Alrighty. Well, I enjoyed actually hearing you, Jolie, kind of connect to the sports, just throwing that back, because that was one motivator for me when I was going through a lot of hard times, is I like put it into sports and kind of did that drive. I even went back and coached this last year because I couldn't stay away. It was kind of a lot of fun. But my next kind of connecting to that, who was a mentor to you growing up? And I'll go ahead and start with, who have I not started with? Milton.
Travis Sims. As soon as I got into high school, I didn't really know him, but he was like one of my teachers. But he's always made me like be better, and like I don't know, Chris Shaw too. Sunshine Jackson. I don't know, just people like I already said before, kind of I guess.
Sweet. Yeah, you guys listed kind of earlier too, a good list of stuff. I was like, whoa, I wish my list was that big. I will go ahead and ask Jaimie, who was some of your mentors, just kind of throughout life, going through to your journey to where you are today.
Honestly, I didn't have really none until recently, but my mom did teach me a lot. Laugh, just enjoy what you do have. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard to say that because like I don't know if it's like mentors are like positive, so I don't know if it. But my mom, she helped me out a lot. Like, probably wouldn't be here today without her. So yeah.
Thank you. And Shar, who are some of your mentors?
Well, they've changed throughout the years, but definitely my sisters I live with. Yeah, one used to be my auntie. My sister's mom. Yeah, she's a good role model or like mentor. Some of my teachers. Yeah, that's my mom and dad. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. I sometimes forget. I've realized too, teachers play a huge role. Just recently, I've been connecting with some and talking about going back. So thank you for that. And Jolu, do you have some mentors? Or to actually start with you, Jolu?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know, something happened to my Zoom thing. It's not okay, there we go. My mentors in my life were probably, I'd say, like all through high school, which is a bunch of different people. One of them being Joe Marsh, another one being Tyler Mitchell, and just my coaches. They all had basically something to say during my whole entire time in high school. Basically, just a positive role model for me to look up to as well. And yeah, they were just always there for me. Everybody who's probably had a positive outlook on me and just believed that I could do whatever I wanted to do. Just yeah, a role model. Basically, those people, my coaches, my principal, Jennifer Lane. Just a bunch of people. Her son, Lewis George, just it was awesome. A lot of different people inspired me. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'll go ahead and kick it back over to Chris.
Thank you, Amada, and thank you guys for answering that question. I believe, Nation, you have our last mentor question for the kids, so it's all you.
This is the last question for the mentors, or for the youth. Okay, so I'm going to ask my question, which is, what is your definition of peer pressure? And we're going to start with Charlene.
My definition of peer pressure is having friends who use substances, but you don't really want to do it, but they're like, come on, just do it, like you could do it, or stuff like that. And I know I would use to fit in, I guess. And when you're like around people who use all the time, it's the norm, and you don't really think twice about it, I guess, unless you've been around other people who don't use. And like, I don't know, it's just it can be difficult, like peer pressure and having friends who do use, but yeah, it's difficult.
Thank you, Charlene. Yeah, when you surround yourself with friends who don't respect your kind of, your space where you say no, and then I understand. And then we're gonna send it over to Jaimie to answer next.
I don't know. Kind of like, I never really was like peer pressure type. Like I kind of was just doing it, but I think like a big thing is like making you feel comfortable, like pumping you up for like doing the wrong things, like just, I don't know, like making you feel comfortable with doing the wrong things, like that's what you're supposed to be doing, like like not trying to show you or make you even think twice about what you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I guess that's a part of it.
Yeah, thank you for your definition. And then we're gonna send it over to Joe Lu. What is your definition of peer pressure?
I feel like it's when your friends, it's definitely your friends when they find something and they like as something you should be like uncomfortable with, and like how Jaimie said, they try to make you comfortable with something that you shouldn't be with, and that, and then them being nice about it, I guess. So like if they did have something like a substance, they would be like, oh man, try this, we have heck of this, you want some of this, and then I'm like, oh man, I mean, I don't want to do that, but like, no, we got a heck of it, you could do as much as you want, we're always doing this. And then just them being nice about it, and then always offering it to you, especially if you decline like their offer or their peer pressure, they'll always continue to offer you it, and it's just them being like nice, but it's not a good thing, but it's always your friends like trying to be a cooler friend in a way, and always like offering it to you, and just trying to get you to look at them as like a cooler person, and with them being a lot more nicer to you about that type of situation. So peer pressure is a big thing, and it's terrible. It's awful. That's how people get hooked on major things, is peer pressure. Yeah, it's just your friends trying to be nice or cool.
Thank you, Joe. It's a good answer. And then last, go ahead, Milt. What's your definition of peer pressure?
Basically what everyone said, honestly. Those are all good things, definitions of it. And doing things just because your friends are doing it, just because it's cool, But just, I don't know, you got to be stronger than that. Tell them no. So yeah.
Thank you guys for all answering that question. And it is food for thought that, you don't want to leave your buddies. Those are your friends. And if they're pressuring you to do something that you're not wanting to do, what do you do? So thank you for answering. And then I'm going to give it to Chris.
Thank you, Nation, for that question. Thank you guys for answering that. And for our final question for our youth, because I know you guys are probably tired of answering all these questions. I have to ask you guys, because you guys were all on with these different other speakers yesterday or this week. What is the most important thing you guys learned from them, and what's the best thing you guys took away from that conversation that you guys had with those other people like Mike, Gusto, Robbie, and Frank? So Joe, I'll start with you this time since you're always last. I'll start with you first.
Okay, let me get my desk situated here. All right. Hold on. It's gonna take a little bit. What was the question now?
What's the most important thing you think you've learned from the people you were on with this week, either Mike or Gusto, Robbie, or Frank?
Just how much they connected with us, I guess, on definitely on a personal level. It's just hearing their stories, and then especially when you told your story first, and then them having definitely one of the pretty much the same experience with you. It was a lot like talking with yourself, but from a different perspective, if that makes sense. I get to connect with these people on more of a level that I wanted to, instead of like talking to like a random person about it, like say a counselor, and they really don't get you at all, and you're just like, you're sitting there basically wasting breath on them. Talking to these people, because they know where we came from. We came from the same, we cut from the same cloth basically. We had the same things happen to each other, and we definitely know what trauma is. And just talking to them, it was definitely a great experience, because it was like, it didn't feel weird, and you didn't feel like he was out of place, and you didn't feel like he was being judged, because the same thing happened to them as it did to you. And it was awesome. It was an amazing feeling. Yeah, that's what I got from my mentors, Mike, Frank, and everyone else.
Thank you for that. That was a great answer. I'll go with Shar. I'll have you answer it next.
I think the biggest thing I took away is how they overcame their struggles, and that we can do that too. And like, we don't have to have those setbacks hold us back, I guess. And bad things happen, and we just have to get through them. And yeah.
That was a great answer. Jaimie, I'll go to you next.
I learned from my guy that you can go from like the one on the streets, big dog on the streets, to like the opposite, like big dog in the community, like people looking at you like, like there he is, like Gusto, yeah, like you can totally flip it around. You can't let people like tell you can't. You gotta believe it in yourself, and then that's the start, and then the rest will just come.
Thank you for that. And Milton, have you wrap it up for us?
Well, I seen Mike Duncan was on, so Mike taught me how to be a man in today's generation or whatever, He gave me the courage not to do drugs, not to drink, and helped me stop drinking and stuff, Frank taught me that there's a lot of people out there with similar stories and overcome their struggles.
Thank you for that, and thank you all you guys for your answers. That is the end of our youth panel, because I know they're probably tired of asking questions. So to wrap it up, first off, I want to thank our people who are on. I want to thank Mike, thank Gusto, Robbie, and Frank for on Monday through Thursday. If you haven't watched those yet, please make sure you guys check that out, because they're awesome. I also want to do a little shout out. I know that they're not really paying attention, but what I want to do is, Milt, I'll start with you. I want you to turn the camera to Shay right now, and I want everybody else to stop talking. And Shay, I'm going to put you on blast, so I want you to talk for 20 seconds. We're all going to show that you put it behind.
Yes, I have been behind the scenes every day this week, and so I just want to give a huge shout out to these youth. Today, I was trying not to cry in front of Milton. Each of your stories have touched not only myself, but the entire community. I'm trying not to cry now, but I appreciate every single one of you. You mentors, there's no words about how much I appreciate every single one of you and for what you do for these kids and beyond. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shay. You were one to put it all together. You are our mentor. We all thank you for that. And now, Jaimie, I want you to turn the video on to Yvonne because she's our substance abuse counselor. She's the one that is going to be, has put this all together too. So Jaimie, I want you to put it on Yvonne and then we're all going to stop talking. We're going to put the video on Yvonne for about 20 seconds too.
So everybody count to 20. Now I know how you all feel. Thank you so much. I have cried just like Jaimie and the rest of you on this. Man, I'm nervous. I don't like this, you guys. Thank you, each and every one of you. You're shining. I want to see how you step up in the future. I'm super proud of you. Charlene, super proud of you. And I look forward to seeing what's going to happen in the future behind the scenes.
Thank you, Yvonne. We were so happy to have you and Shay set this up for us. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on gallery view. And what I want is I want all of my youth to close their eyes and count to 5. So we have a surprise for you guys. Right now, all you guys close your eyes and count to 5.
That's great. They got you.
That is the end of our conference. See you guys next time. We are done.
I was trying to warn you.